Today's lesson is entitled, The Mother of Harlots. The Mother of Harlots. So real quick, we're going to give you a definition of a harlot, and we're going to reveal Bible dictionary because there are two type harlots in the Bible. Go ahead.
This is a Revealed Bible Dictionary. Harlot, a woman who exchanges sex for money.
So that's the one of the definitions for a harlot. But then there's another harlot as well mentioned in the Bible. Go ahead.
A woman who serves as a cult prostitute in fertility religion. Figuratively, a symbol of idolatry.
Figuratively, a symbol of idolatry. You finished with that?
Yes, sir.
Now, we got to find out what is idolatry then. So we're going to Erdman's Bible Dictionary, and we are looking up idolatry.
Erdman's Bible Dictionary. Idolatry. In the Old Testament, the worship of gods other than Yahweh, especially through images representing them.
Now, so that's what idolatry is. So, in other words, a harlot in this case is a worshiper of other gods. This is what type of harlot that we are dealing with. One that worships other gods or follow after other gods. Go ahead.
The New Testament extends the concept to include any ultimate confidence in something other than God.
Okay, so it's the worshiping of other gods. That's what a harlot is in this case, which is idolatry. Now, let's go to Hosea, the 2nd chapter, Hosea 2. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1, Hosea 2 and 1. Everybody got it? Amen. Go ahead and read it.
Say ye unto your brethren, am I?
Now this is Hosea children, Amai, and his sister Ruhamah. And so what the Lord had told Hosea to do was to go get you a woman that is a harlot or a whore, right? And then so this harlot had children by Hosea. And so he likened the children of Israel unto these children right here, because the children of Israel played the harlot just like Hosea's wife was a harlot. And then the children were children of whoredom. The children of Israel were children of whoredom. So it's going to come together in a minute. Just follow along. Go ahead and start at verse 1. Go ahead.
Say ye unto your brethren, am I? And to your sisters, Ruhamah. Plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife. Neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts.
Go ahead. Now you see, he said, put her whoredoms out of her sight and her adulteries from between her breasts. So we're talking about like idolatry right here. We're not talking about whoredom like a prostitute. Okay, go ahead, verse 3, go ahead.
Lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms.
See, they are the children of whoredoms. They are the children of whoredoms. Verse 5, go ahead, because you got a mother, and then out of that mother come the children, right? And children of whoredoms. So the mother is a harlot, just like the children. They are the children of the whoredom. Verse 5, go ahead and read.
For their mother hath played the harlot.
See, the mother played the harlot. Go ahead and read.
That she conceived them have done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers. They give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink.
Now let's just break this down a little bit more so you can get we can get a little bit clearer understanding of this. So we're going over to Hosea the 4th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Hosea 4 and 6. Go ahead and read it.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of God, the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
Oh, so he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You have forgotten the Lord's law. He said, look, I'm going to forget thee, and I'm going to forget your children. Skip down to verse 11. Skip to verse 11. What does that say?
Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
See, this is what whoredom and wine and new wine take away. It takes away the heart, the mind. And we're not talking about no physical wine right here, right? We are talking about the spiritual wine. It said whoredom and wine and new wine taking away the heart.
My people ask counsel at their stocks.
See, my people ask counsel at their stocks.
And their staff declareth unto them.
See, they asking after other, or talking to other gods, or dealing with other gods, and asking counsel of other gods. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declare unto them.
For the spirit of whoredoms hath caused them to err.
See, the spirit of whoredoms, because they're going after all these other gods. Go ahead.
And they have gone a whoring from under their God.
They have went a whoring from under their God. See, when you go off to another God, you go a whoring. Because the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, is the only true and living God. So when you go from this God right here, you go a whoring after other gods. Now, is this talking about in Revelation 17, the Mother of Harlots? Is this who we're dealing with in Revelation 17? Because that's where you get Babylon the Great, the Mother of Harlots, and the Abominations of the earth from. Which that's where we're going to read now. So we're dealing with Israel, because, you know, I got a brother keep saying that this is talking about the children of Israel, Revelation 17. It's talking about the children of Israel. Look, I know that Israel played the harlot. The Lord called a harlot, a whore, you name it, he called her out. False prophets, you name it. Say she called a fornicator, all of these things. But are we dealing with Revelation 17 chapter? Is that dealing with Israel? Let's go read this. Let's go to Revelation 17 and 5. Because this is where you read, this is the only place you really read about the Mother of Harlots. Oh, yeah, I do have it right there. Okay, yeah, go ahead, read that verse 13.
Hosea
15.
Hosea 4, verse 15.
15, yes, that's supposed to be 15, yeah.
Though thou, Israel, play the harlot, yet let not Judah offend, and come not ye unto Gilgal.
Now, so I'm just reading it to you again that Israel played the harlot. Now, let's go to Revelation, the 17th chapter, Revelation 17. Revelation 17, we're going to read one verse. And we're going to come back to this later. Revelation 17 and 5. Just read that one verse. Revelation 17 and 5. Go ahead and read.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
See that? He said upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery. Because, you know, brother keeps saying, Rodney, you don't know, because it's a mystery. But then you keep telling me it's Israel, so how's it a mystery? How's it? You keep telling me it's Israel, so how's it a mystery? That doesn't make any sense. Then when I told him that, he stopped saying it. See, it's a mystery, it's a mystery. He kept hollering, it's a mystery. You don't know, see? Well, you just told me, so it's not a mystery no more. Upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth. Is this Israel? Is this talking about the children of Israel? Because Israel was called a harlot. We saw that Israel was likened to the mother, and the children were children of whoredom. But is this right here, Revelation 17 and 5, talking about the children of Israel? We're going to find out. I'm saying it's not. And I'm going to show you who this is talking about. Let's go now. Let's go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, Daniel 2. Daniel 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Daniel 2 and 1. Daniel 2 and 1. When you get it, brother, start reading.
And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherein his spirit was troubled and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation.
Now, they couldn't tell him the interpretation of the dream, but Daniel could, right? So let's just get to the interpretation of the dream. So we're going to skip down to verse 31, because the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers, all they could not tell Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was. So then they sent for Daniel. So Daniel's going to tell the interpretation of the dream. So let's skip down to verse 31. Skip down to verse 31. So we go on, this is Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Remember we were in Mystery Babylon the Great, the Mother of Harlots. So we're going back to the main player when it comes to Babylon, and which was Nebuchadnezzar. Because Nebuchadnezzar in his time ruled the world. So he was the main player when it comes to Babylon. And we're going to see a little later that Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon was destroyed. But first, before we see that, let's get the interpretation of the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. So we at verse 31. Verse 31. Go ahead and read. Now you're going to interpret the dream. Go ahead.
Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee.
I'll tell you what, pick up at verse 30. Pick it up at verse 30.
Verse 30.
Yeah.
But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom.
Now this is Daniel talking. Go ahead.
That I have more than any living. But for their sakes, that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold. Now we're going to see who this stone is, real. We're going to see who the stone is, because this stone smote that image on the foot and broke it into pieces, right? Look, we're going to find out what else this stone is going to do. But go ahead and read. And the gold, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. Now all of these represent nations. But go ahead. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote that image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Oh, you see what that stone did? It smote that image on the foot and filled the entire earth. Now Daniel's going to break this down, what this is talking about. Go ahead and read. Verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings. For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. So Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom, he said, thou art this head of gold, king, right? And then thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. Because like I said earlier, Nebuchadnezzar was the first world ruler, right? And so all of those that came after him was like the Medes and the Persians, the Greeks, and then the Romans. These all were part of Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. They all were. But go ahead and read. 38. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over all them, over them all. Go ahead. Thou art this head of gold. Thou art this head of gold. Now remember, all the silver and the gold and everything, these all were the iron, right? All of these were a part of one body. But Nebuchadnezzar, he was the head. Right? Everybody understand? We're dealing with one body right here. Nebuchadnezzar being the head. Go ahead and read. And after these shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee.
Now here comes another kingdom. So this would be the second kingdom. And the second kingdom was who? The Medes and the Persians. This is written in history. Go ahead and read.
And another third kingdom of brass.
Stop right there. Who's the third kingdom? That would be the Greeks, which Alexander the Great came out of. So now we got Babylon, the Medes and the Persians. That's one kingdom. Then we got the Greeks, which Alexander the Great was a world. I mean, this guy was bad. I mean, people don't want to give Alexander the Great his props, but this guy was bad. I mean, he went conquering, and he conquered the world. Even was called the first Gentile Pharaoh. Alexander the Great. Go ahead and read.
Which shall bear rule over all the earth.
See, he bear rule over all the earth. And he died when he was like 32 years old. But at that time, he had already conquered the known world. Now we got a fourth beast that's coming. Go ahead and read.
Verse 40.
Uh-huh.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
Uh-huh.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
So now this is Rome right here. Rome came up after the Greeks. The Romans conquered the Greeks, and then they became the next world rulers. Skip to verse, I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'm just going to show you the Greeks and then the Romans, okay? So skip down to verse 44. Skip to verse 44. Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed.
Now, wait a minute. Has God set up his kingdom already? The God of heaven has not set up his kingdom already. He said, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
See, this kingdom that we're dealing with right here, it's going to stand forever. Remember that stone smote the image on the foot and filled the entire earth? So this kingdom right here is going to be forever. Go ahead and read.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold.
See, these all represent nations. The Babylon, the Medes and the Persians, the Greeks, and then finally the Romans. And then here come this stone, which smote that image on the foot and filled the entire earth. This is talking about the Lord, because he is the stone. Go ahead and read.
The great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
And the dream certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. Now, we're going to read something here in the last 2 million years. So we're going to page, let's see, we're going to last page 110 first. Page 110 first. And so we're going to look at when the Roman Empire, when it took over, and then when it ended. Sorry, you didn't need it there.
So the last 2 million years.
That's page 110.
Page 110. How Rome shaped the modern world. When they conquered the world of ancient Greece, the Romans absorbed...
See, when they conquered the world of ancient Greece, because that's who came up after the Greeks. It was the Romans. The Romans conquered the Greeks. Then took on a lot of their culture. Go ahead.
The Romans absorbed the best of Greek culture and passed on its legacy of art, architecture, science, and philosophy to the Western world. Skipping down.
Yeah.
What is so remarkable is that this spectacular world power grew out of a vigor and determination of the inhabitants of a single city. It was in 753 BC that, according to tradition, Rome was founded on 7 small hills by the banks of the river Tiber.
You see that? Rome was founded, I remember that. It was founded on 7 hills. Right? Now turn to page 118. I got it marked off.
Page 118.
Now we're going to start looking at the decline of Rome, because I'm going to show you something in a minute. Go ahead.
It was the Christians' refusal to pay this homage that made Christianity the single faith that for 3 centuries Rome would not tolerate. The fragmentation of religions was one of the causes which eventually weakened the political unity of the empire.
So now the empire is starting to become weak now. So Christianity, they were opposed to Christianity for 3 centuries, right? So now Rome is starting its decline. Go ahead.
Christianity was adopted as the official religion in the 4th century.
Oh, wait a minute. So now around 300 and something AD, the Romans adopted the Christian religion. Of course, they had their own. I'm going to show you. They had their own brand of Christianity. Go ahead.
But though this move was welcome in the Greek East, it failed to stop the decline in the greater part of the empire. All right, skipping down.
Yeah.
In this way, the barbarians dismembered the empire piecemeal.
Stop right there. So now the barbarians came in and dismembered the Roman Empire. In 400 and something AD, around 410 AD, they start dismembering the Roman. I think the last emperor was around 476 AD. And Rome was done with then. Go ahead.
And by the end of the 4th century, Roman civilization in the West was virtually swamped. Rome itself was sacked by the Visigoths in 410, and the last emperor in Rome was deposed in 476.
Now, so Rome was done away with. It was completely done in around 476 as far as them being a world ruler. They were done. They weren't done here because they gave you their brand of Christianity. So hold on one second though. Let's go to Romans, the 16th chapter, because Paul had mentioned something to the Romans right here. We're going to Romans 16. And so, he was telling them, they were slow bellies. And some of these Romans going to start coming with some other type doctrines. Romans 16 and 16. Romans 16 and 16. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read.
Salute one another with a holy kiss.
Now, some people try to ask the question, what do you mean by a holy kiss? Dude, if I kiss a brother on the jaw, kiss him on both, that's not funny. I'm just greeting my brother. People, let me just keep moving. Go ahead.
The churches of Christ salute you. Now I beseech you.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you see what he said? The churches of Christ salute you. So Christ has a church. He said the churches of Christ salute you. Go ahead and read.
17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned.
Wait a minute. You see that? So because he's talking to the Romans right here. He said, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Now he's talking to the Romans right here. Does anybody see this? Go ahead and read.
And avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. So he's talking to the Romans right here. He said for such don't serve our Lord Jesus Christ.
But their own belly. And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Good words and fair speeches, they are deceiving the hearts of many. So they coming with another doctrine. They're not coming with the doctrine of Christ. And look who he's talking to, the Romans. Go ahead and read.
For your obedience is come abroad unto all men. I am glad, therefore, on your behalf. But yet I would have you wise unto that which is good, and simple concerning evil.
Now he is talking to the Romans right here, telling you that some men going to come to you with other doctrines contrary to the doctrine of Christ. Romans right here. Let's go now. We're going to go back to Babylon for a minute. Let's go back to Babylon for a minute, because we're going to come back to Rome in just a minute. So let's go back to Babylon, right? Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Jeremiah 51 and verse 1. Now, you know, this Babylon that we're reading about, that we're getting ready to read about now, is likened, the Babylon the Great, the Mother of Harlots, is likened unto this Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Watch what we're going to read. Just pay attention to what you're reading. Because the Babylon the Great is likened unto Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. We at Jeremiah 51, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind.
See, the Lord said he's going to destroy Babylon, right? Skip to verse 4. Skip to verse 4. Go ahead.
Thus the slain shall fall in their land of the Chaldeans.
Now he said the slain will fall in the land of the Chaldeans. Who's the land of the Chaldeans? That is Babylon. This Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Go ahead and read.
And they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of
Now
Babylon.
wait a minute. Now slow down a little bit, brother. You're reading fast, man. So he said, look, Israel is not going to be forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. See, he said, look, you're not going to be forsaken, because at this time the children of Israel were in Babylon. So he said, look, Israel, you're not going to be forsaken, although you sinned against me when you were in the land. But you're not going to be forsaken. And look at what he's going to tell the children of Israel to do while they were in Babylon. Go ahead and read.
Verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. And deliver every man his soul.
Ooh, wait a minute. He said, flee out of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. So he's telling Israel to flee out of Babylon. And this is the way you're going to deliver yourself. And this is the way you have to deliver yourself now. You got to flee from great Babylon. It's the only way you're going to deliver yourself. You got to flee from great Babylon. Read that one more time.
Verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance.
This is a time of the Lord's vengeance.
He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand.
It had been what? Read that one more time. I'm sorry. Push the thing down so we can get a little. Yeah.
Verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken.
Now, wait a minute now. Now, we're looking at Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. And you see what he is saying about Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon? He said, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Go ahead and read.
That made all the earth drunken.
That made all the earth drunken. Now, look at what he said about Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. This is 700 and something BC we're dealing with right here. Go ahead and read.
Therefore the nations have drunken her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
Therefore the nations, they have drunken of her wine, and therefore they are mad. Now we're talking about Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, not Babylon the Great. But look, Babylon the Great is likened unto Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon right here. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
I'm sorry. Skip to verse 12. Skip to verse 12. Go ahead.
Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters.
Oh, wait a minute. You see where she's dwelling? upon many. Now I know this sounds familiar to everybody in here, but I'm just showing you that this Babylon, this Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, and this Babylon, Babylon the Great is likened unto Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. He said, "O thou that dwellest upon many waters,"
abundant in treasures.
Abundant in what?
Abundant in treasures.
Abundant in treasures. Israel didn't have no treasures. I'm going to show you, Israel was poor, but they were rich. They weren't poor, they weren't rich with wealth. But they were poor when it comes to wealth. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures,
thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness.
Now, we're going to read about Babylon the Great. Let's go to Revelation 17, because Babylon the Great is likened unto Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. We're going to, first we're going to read something here. We're going to Revelation 17. We're going to Revelation 17. Let me slow down some. Revelation 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelation 17 and 1. Now remember, he said that Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? And this Babylon had committed fornication with the nations. So Revelation 17 and 1. Go ahead and read that.
And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Now wait a minute. So now this, just like Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon was in judgment, and now we see this whore that's sitting upon many waters, she is in judgment. Just like Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. She is in judgment now. This whore. Skip to verse 15. Let's see who this whore, she said, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Let's see who these waters are. Skip to verse 15, go ahead.
And he saith unto me.
Excuse me, you have to have him to sit down, sis, because you don't walk in front of the camera there. 15.
And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Oh, you see that? He said, where the whore is sitting, these are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So we're not talking about her sitting over literal waters. We're talking about people, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Does everybody understand? Let's go now. Let's back up now. Back to verse 1 again. Go to verse 1 again. Go ahead.
And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
Wait a minute. Didn't the kings of the earth commit fornication with Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon? We just read the same thing. So this Babylon the Great is likened, and we could be talking about Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, because Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon was destroyed. You can go on your computer right now and look up ancient Babylon, and you will see it's still in ruins. Just like the Lord said, it's going to be in perpetual desolation. And that's where it is right now. We did a lesson over a year ago dealing with this and showing you that Babylon is still in ruins. Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. So that Babylon was destroyed. So this Babylon the Great right here is likened unto that Babylon. But we're not dealing with that Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Neither are we dealing with the children of Israel. Because remember what he told the children of Israel when they were in captivity? He said, flee out of Babylon, Judah. Flee out of her. Verse 2 again.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Now,
weren't the inhabitants that have committed fornication with Nebuchadnezzar, weren't they made drunk as well? We just read this in Jeremiah the 51st chapter. It's almost verbatim. But we're not talking about Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. We are talking about another Babylon, which is called Babylon the Great. And this surely is not the children of Israel. And I'm going to show you that. Go ahead and finish, read.
Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Now, this didn't say this about Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. So now we're dealing with another Babylon the Great right here. This one is the Mother of Harlots. So he carried me away into the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now that just put another spin on it. Because Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon didn't have no 7 heads and 10 horns. We didn't read that yet, did we? And I said, yet. Skip to verse 6. Go ahead and read.
Verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
Now this woman right here killed the saints. Said she was drunken with the blood of the saints. And we're going to show you who killed the saints. Because, brother, hey, man, old Jerusalem that killed the prophets and stoned them. I say, but, brother, I know that the children of Israel killed the prophets. I know that. But then you had this woman right here that was drunken with the blood of the saints. And I'm going to show you somebody else who we are dealing with right here was drunken with the blood of the saints as well. Or killed the saints. It wasn't just the children of Israel that killed the saints. Now, let's go to, we're going to keep reading.
Verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her.
Go ahead.
Which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
Go ahead. Now this is talking about Rome. Saying she's going to ascend out of the bottomless pit. Go ahead and read.
And go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. When they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is.
See that? Look at that. He said, behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. Because Rome was destroyed around 410 AD. But he said, and yet is. Now, how can it be yet is? Militarily, they don't have you, but spiritually, Rome has you. And I'm going to show you that this is talking about Rome, and this is talking about none other than the papacy or the Catholic Church. Now, I don't want to offend nobody, but I know it's kind of hard to do. You know, I kind of did this on Facebook, and then it was deleted. So I got to be a little softer with this. So Facebook don't flag me. I mean, not Facebook, but YouTube don't flag me. But this is talking about Rome that was and not, right, yet is. Now he's going to tell you where this woman is sitting. Now, I know, brother, well, Israel was founded on 7 hills. Well, read that to me. Find that for me. Read that for me. Where it talks about, especially in the Bible, that Israel was sitting on 7 hills. Because when you look at Jerusalem, it never said anything about Jerusalem sitting on those 7 hills. It never said that. But look, go ahead and read that verse now. Where is this woman sitting? Did you finish that verse 8?
Yes.
Where is this woman sitting? Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
Oh, this woman is sitting on 7 mountains? She is sitting on 7 mountains? Now we're going to look at this slide right here. And I wish I had pulled this back. If you look at this slide right here, you'll see that Rome is sitting on 7 hills. Now we're going to call out these 7 hills right here. It says 7 hills of Rome. group of hills on or about which the ancient city of Rome was built. The original city, Romulus, was built upon Palatine Hill. In Latin, well, we're not going to even read all that. Capitoline, and Aventine. So now we're going to read you all of these hills, though. So let me just, I wish I had them. Let me see. Just back just a little bit more. Okay, now, so now the name of the hills are right here. Quirinal Hill, Verminal Hill, Capitoline Hill, Esquiline Hill, Palatine Hill, Calian Hill, and Aventine Hill. These are the 7 hills on which Rome was founded on. Now, if you're saying that Israel was founded on 7 hills, then give me the name of those 7 hills. Give me the name of those 7 hills. So now let's read Revelation 17 again. Let's read Revelation 17 again and pick it up at verse 9 again. Go ahead.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom.
Uh-huh.
The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman
Now
sitteth.
this woman is sitting on 7 hills. And now Rome is sitting on 7 hills. And who is in Rome? The Vatican is in Rome. Because remember, Rome went out of power in 410 AD, but she yet is. Now how she yet is? We're going to find out. Let's go now. Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter, Daniel 7. Daniel 7. Now we're going to pick up these 4 beasts. Daniel 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Daniel 7 and 6. And look who's going to come out of these 4 beasts. Daniel 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Daniel 7 and 6. Go ahead and read it.
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Go ahead.
And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces.
Go ahead.
And
now look, we're dealing with that 4th beast now. So the 4th beast is who? Rome. The 4th beast is Rome. Read that verse again. What verse you stop at?
Verse 7.
Go ahead.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Now look, it's diverse from all the beasts that were before it. Same thing we read in Daniel, the 2nd chapter. We're reading about this 4th beast again. So he said it was diverse from all the other ones. Go ahead and read.
And it had 10 horns.
Wait a minute. We just read about that in Revelation, the 17th chapter. The 4 beasts had 10 horns. Go ahead and read.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
Wait a minute. So now here comes that little horn. Came up from among these 10. Go ahead and read.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Go ahead.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Now, so he said, this little horn had eyes like a man, and a mouth speaking great things. So we're not looking at no actual horn here, we're looking at a man. And this would exclude the children of Israel, because we're looking at one man right here. So he said he was given eyes like a man and a mouth speaking great things, right? Skip to verse, now let's look at this little horn for a minute. Skip to verse 15. Skip to verse 15. Go ahead and read it.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me.
Go ahead.
I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are 4, are 4 kings. which shall arise out of the earth.
Go ahead.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Now, has this happened yet? This hasn't happened yet. The saints have not came and possessed the kingdom and taken it over forever. This has not happened yet. Go ahead and read.
19.
Then
I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came
So now,
up.
wait a minute. So this fourth beast had the 10 horns in his head, right? So it said of the 10 horns that were in his head,
and of the other which came up.
Now the other which came up, that's that little horn, right? And then had the mouth speaking the great things. Go ahead and read.
And before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Go ahead.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
Now wait a minute. So now this little horn made war with the saints and prevailed with them. So much for the children of Israel killing the prophets. Because now you had this little horn right here, which clearly is not the children of Israel. He said, and I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. So he killed some saints then, right? Because, you know, he want to make it out like Israel are the only ones that kill the saints. And we just read over in Revelation 17 that that his beast was drunken with the blood of the saints. In Revelation 17, right? So now look at what we're reading with here. This same one, and I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Skip to verse 23. Skip to verse 23. Go ahead.
Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth.
Now wait a minute. This fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. Who is the fourth kingdom upon the earth then? It is Rome. That's who it is. It is Rome. And we are looking at future right here. Go ahead and read.
Which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Go ahead.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Go ahead.
And think to change times and laws.
Now wait a minute now. So this is somebody right here that's got some power, that's doing all this. And this is that little horn which came out of 10, right? So he said, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Now, if he's going to wear out the saints of the Most High, then that means he's going to kill some saints then, right? Then we see over there in Revelation 17 that this beast was drunken with the blood of the saints. We are looking at the same one. Read that verse 25 one more time.
25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Wait, now he's going to think to change times and laws. Israel didn't think to change times and laws. We know the one who thinks to change times and laws. He's the one talking about it's going to be 11th commandment, and we're going to take 2 of them away though. And talking about something about homosexuality as well. Telling you that the Lord's Sabbath day is the first day of the week, not the 7th day anymore. No, we don't have no scripture for that. But what we say, it goes. He is the beast that was and that yet is. Because he got you right here. Not y'all. But this is where he got the people at. Right here, this beast, this horn that's speaking great words against the Most High. This whore that sitteth upon many waters. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
The middle of 25. And they shall be given into his hand until the time and time and the dividing of time.
Well, I thought it was going to be 7 years of tribulations. This is dealing with great tribulations right here, and this is 3.5 years for great tribulation. Now, we're not going to get into that right now. That's really another lesson. But let's go now. Let's go to Revelations 13. Revelations 13. Because Revelations 13 is going to talk about these 7 heads and these 10 horns. Just like we read earlier. Revelations 13, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. And look what else it's going to talk about. Revelations 13 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Uh-oh, there that beast go again. Which beast is this? This is that 4th beast. It's got 7 heads and 10 horns. Go ahead and read.
And upon his horns 10 crowns. And upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
So that's the Babylon, and then the Medes and the Persians.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
The Greeks.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
Now wait a minute. Satan gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. We're looking at this 4th beast right here. It had the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So he said, Satan, the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. Satan gave him this. And we're not looking at the children of Israel right here. We're looking at an individual. Does everybody understand? Amen. We are not looking at the children of Israel right here. Read that verse again.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And his feet were as the feet of a bear. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
Go ahead.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
The beast that was, but yet is. He said, look, this beast was wounded, his head was wounded, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. All the world is wondering after. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4.
And they were. Is all the world wondering after Israel? Especially not the real Israelites. And they're not, the whole world is not even wondering after the ones that call themselves Israelis, which is Israelite. They're not even wondering after them. But the world is wondering after Rome and the papacy. That's who the world is wondering after. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who was like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him.
Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given
unto him. Now wait a minute,
him.
did we just read about that over in Daniel, the 7th chapter? You're going to have a mouth speaking great things. You're going to speak things against the Most High, against the Most High. And we're looking at him again. We are looking at him again. Read that verse again.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy.
Go ahead.
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Wait a minute. We just read about this. He said, and power was given unto him for a time. You're going to think to change time and laws, right? And then power was given unto him for times, which is 3 and a half a time. That's 3.5 years. What's 42 months? 3.5 years. We're looking at the same one right here. Does everybody understand? Amen. We are looking at the same one. He said, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Go ahead and read. Now look what else he's going to do. Go ahead.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God. To blaspheme his name.
Go ahead.
And his tabernacle.
Now wait a minute. Did we read about that one over here, that little horn was going to blaspheme against the Most High? Speak words against the Most High? We're looking at the same one. And where did he come out of? Rome. He came out of Rome. Not out of Israel. That is so ludicrous. So this one came out of Rome, not out of Israel. Go ahead and read.
And them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
Wait a minute now. Who are the saints? That's the children of Israel. That's who the saints are, the children of Israel. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. And we just read that too. That he was going to fight against the saints and prevail. We are reading about the same one. Does everybody understand? And then this same one was likened until Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. And now this same one we are reading about now is a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. And this particular one that we are dealing with right now is that little horn, which came out of Rome, not out of Israel. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, to overcome them. Didn't he overcome them in Daniel the 7th chapter? Didn't the Bible tell us that? And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Him, not them. Not the children of Israel, because we were talking about children of Israel, we said them. But this said him. So we're looking at an individual right here. And we're looking at none other than that little horn, which came out of Rome. Verse 8, go ahead.
Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Go ahead.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Do you have an ear to hear this? See, you got to have an ear. And what do you mean by you got to have, let him have an ear? If any man have an ear, let him hear. You know what it means by it? If any man got some wisdom to hear this. You got some wisdom to hear this. Verse 10, what does it say?
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Now this one right here killed with the sword. We read about him in Daniel, and we are reading about him now. Man, this is really something. How could you say that this is talking about the children of Israel? Let's read about this man again. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. If you think that that is talking about the children of Israel, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. You're going to be in for a rude awakening. Your mind is gone. And I'm going to read you something a little later. If your mind is gone and you don't want to believe the truth, we're going to show you. We had 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter. We're going to read about it again. Pick up at verse 1. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him.
Now we're reading about the coming of the Lord, right? And our gathering, the saints being gathered unto him. Go ahead and read verse 3. Drop to verse 3.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed.
That what?
Man of sin.
That man of sin. We're just not talking about no children of Israel. This is talking about one man. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed. What do you mean with that day? The coming of the Lord. And by our gathering together unto him. So we are dealing with the coming of the Lord. And so this man is not going to be revealed until the coming of the Lord. But he is actually being, I'm talking about revealed to everyone. Because he's been revealed to us already. So we're talking about being revealed to the world. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a fall away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, the son of destruction. Now, look at what he's going to do. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped.
Now, didn't we just read about that little horn and that one in Revelations, the 17th chapter, that's going to oppose God? And that he's going to speak words against the Most High? And then he's going to think to wear out the saints and prevail against them? We are reading about the same 1. Go ahead and read.
So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Now look, who is going to sit in this temple? It is none other than the Pope. The ones that call themselves Jews, they're going to make a temple or build a temple, and the Pope is going to sit in this temple. He's already opposing God already, because he has given you all of these different doctrines. He has given you all of this falsehood, telling you that the Sabbath day is a Sabbath day because they changed it. No scripture, they just changed it. Telling you that you're going to heaven, the Lord said he's coming to earth. He's opposing all that which is called God. Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he adds God to the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. He's opposing and exalting himself already. He is telling you right now that he is Pontificus Maximus. Do you know what that means? He is the ruler on earth. He is the supreme ruler on the earth. Jesus ruled in heaven, and he is the ruler on earth. Go ahead and read verse 5. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know that withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time.
See, he's going to be revealed in his time. To the world, he's going to be revealed. Verse 7, go ahead and read it.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Stop right there. You see, we're in the first century, and he's telling you already. He said, look, the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Somebody is doing this right now. Somebody has started this right now. This is what Paul is telling you. Somebody has started this right now, opposing God and all that is worshipped. They are doing this now. And I'm going to show you something. So he said, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Only he who now letteth will work, letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Until he be taken out of the way. Now we're going to get back to him in a minute. So now he said, for the mystery of iniquity have already worked, and only you who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Now what does he mean, the mystery of iniquity doth already work? Let's go to Revelations, the 2nd chapter. Revelations 2. I'm telling you, man, this thing started all the way back during Paul and the apostles' time. Revelations 2, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. Revelations 2 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, these things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks.
Go ahead.
I know thy works, and thy labor, and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles.
Stop right there. He said, I know thy works, and thy labor, and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say they are apostles. Now, we're in the 1st century right here. And you got some men saying they are apostles, but are they? Go ahead and read.
And are not.
And are not. Now, who is this talking about, saying that they are apostles and are not? Go ahead and read.
And has found them liars.
And has found they are not, and we have found them as liars. Who is this talking about? Skip to verse 9. Go ahead and read it.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich.
Now, he's talking to the children of Israel. He said, I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So now we know that we couldn't be talking about the children of Israel, because the children of Israel are poor. They are rich in heritage, but they are poor when it comes to wealth. But this woman, this mother of Harlots, she is rich. So we know we could be talking about the children of Israel. So, but you see what he said, verse 2. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say that they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars. Now, who is this talking about? Let's go now. We're going to go and we're going to read you something here. We're going to read that pamphlet. Get that pamphlet right there, Brother Jeff. And we're going to read what's highlighted.
It's the MSN Encarta Encyclopedia, Peter. Peter played an important role in the early Christian church at Jerusalem, having received a special call to preach the gospel to his fellow Jews. In time, Peter came also to affirm the Christian mission to the Gentiles.
So, because Peter went to the Gentiles in Acts, the 10th chapter, Cornelius and his family, right? Skip down to that the highlighted part. Go ahead.
Peter was viewed as the rock on which the church was founded because Jesus so designated him. See Matthew chapter 16, verses 6.
And we're going to read that in a minute. We're going to read that in a minute. So now, let's turn the page. Go ahead.
When the Bishop of Rome came to be regarded as the bishop of the most prominent church in Christendom, the picture of Peter as a caring pastor was combined with the tradition of his martyr's death in Rome to serve as the basis of a theory of apostolic succession.
Oh, wait a minute.
Apostolic succession.
Wait a minute. Remember what we read in Revelations 2:2? I know thy works and labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars. Now look, they said that Peter was actually the first pope, but look at what it says. It says, Peter as a caring pastor was combined with the tradition of his martyr's death in Rome in Rome. You see that? To serve as the basis of a theory of apostolic succession. What do you mean apostolic succession? I'm gonna show you one minute. Go ahead and finish that.
According to which each Roman bishop was regarded as the successor to Peter.
Oh, each Roman bishop was regarded as a successor to Peter. So they try to say Peter was actually the first pope. Because it's an apostolic succession. And I'm going to show you the pope after him. And then the pope after him. And then the pope after him. Because it's supposed to be an apostolic. Now this is the Catholic Church we're dealing with. Everybody realize that, right? I told you it's going to get interested in a minute. Go ahead and read.
To whom Jesus had entrusted the keys to the kingdom of God.
Now, Jesus entrusted the keys of the kingdom to God, to Peter. Jesus entrusted the keys of the kingdom to Peter. Right? So once Peter died, then there was an apostolic succession. So each Roman bishop was considered an apostle. But we just read right here that they called themselves apostles, but we have found them to be liars. Now, this was in the first century. And remember, Paul said the mystery of iniquity doth already work. This is in the first century as well. Now let's see this apostolic succession they're talking about. And let's see these ones that call themselves apostles, but do lie. We're going to stop at number 4. Start reading.
Catholic Encyclopedia, list of popes. First Pope, St. Peter.
See that? Peter died, so we took on the apostolic succession. Does anybody understand? So Peter, the first Pope, so they say. Because, the Lord left the keys of the kingdom with Peter. So once Peter died in Rome, then we took over. It's just that simple. So Peter, first Pope, go ahead. When was Peter supposed to be Pope? Go ahead.
From 32 AD to 67.
Now, wait a minute now. This is around the time when almost the time when Jesus was there, when he left the keys of the kingdom with Peter, right? Who the next pope?
Pope number 2, Saint Linus.
Now, did you see him in the Bible as a pope? Because the Lord even told Peter and them, don't call no man father, for one is your father, don't call no man your father, for one is your father, even God. So you know the Pope called himself Papa or Father, right? So now the first Pope after Peter was Saint Linus. How long was he Pope?
From 67 AD to 76 AD.
Wait a minute, now you still got, because Paul and Peter them died around 67, 68, 69 AD. So you still have some of a couple of the apostles still on the scene. So therefore, that's why Paul was saying the mystery of iniquity is already worked, because he hadn't even died yet. You had some men saying that they calling themselves Pope or apostles, and then in Revelations, what does John call it? He said, we have found them to be liars. Now here this guy is Linus. What is he? Saint Linus, 67 to 76 AD. Who's the next one?
Saint Anacletus. Cletus.
Cletus.
76 to 88.
76 to 88. We're getting around to the time when John wrote Revelations. John wrote Revelation around 92 to 96 AD. So now we're getting around the time of John wrote the Revelations. Now we got this Clement, Cletus, 76 to 88 AD. Who's that next one?
Number 4 is Saint Clement.
Saint Clement.
Saint Clement the First. 88 to 97.
Oh, 88 to 97. What did Paul, when did John write Revelations? Around 92, 96 AD. I know thy works, and thy labor, and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say that they are apostles, and are not, and has found them liars. I wonder who he's talking about. I wonder who he was talking about. Because Peter wasn't no pope. But yet you got these men say from the Catholic Church say you got an apostolic succession. Saint Linus, Saint Cletus, and Saint Clement, which was around 88 to 97 AD. Is this falling in line for y'all now? Is this making sense now? Let's go now. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to talk about nobody, because what it is what it is. The Lord's will is going to be done. I'm just showing you who this is talking about. Let's go to Matthew 16. Because, you know, they say Peter was left the keys of the kingdom, but once Peter died, then we took over. Matthew 16. Matthew 16, you know, and Peter was supposed to be the head of the church. But who was the head of the church? Christ is the head of the church. This is why they said Peter was the head of the church. Go ahead and read. 16:16. Go ahead.
And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Go ahead.
And Jesus,
because Jesus asked, who do men say that I am? And Simon said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church.
Now see, Peter means Cephas, which means stone. Right? So now they saying that, you know, the Lord has built the church upon Peter. But who is the rock?
Christ.
Christ is the rock. And who is the head of the church? Christ is the head of the church. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I build my church.
And the gates of hell shall not prevail against
The
it.
gates of hell is not going to prevail against my church. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
19. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
Now look, so he left the keys of the kingdom with Peter, not with the Gentiles. He told Peter, whatsoever you bound on earth shall be bound in heaven, whatsoever bound on loose in earth shall be loosed in heaven. So he left the keys of the kingdom with Peter, not with the Pope. Does anybody understand? And I don't see no apostles coming up after he picked them 12, except Paul and Barnabas. Okay. But I don't see no Limas and no Cletus and no Clement. I don't see none of them. In fact, the apostles that he picked were all Israelites, not Gentiles. These are Gentiles right here. Clement, Linus, Cletus. These are all Gentiles. All the apostles that the Lord picked were Israelites. Now, and he left the keys of the kingdom with Peter, which is an Israelite. Let's go now. Let's go to 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. Let's look at what church that Peter was left in charge of. Peter was a man, but Christ was the head of the church, just like he's the head of this church. We had 1 Timothy 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 15. We better get moving. 1 Timothy 3 and 15. That right? Yeah, go ahead and read it.
But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of God, which is the church of the living God.
Which is what?
The church of the living God.
The church of the living God. And that's which church that Peter was left the keys of the kingdom to. The church of the living God,
The pillar and ground of the truth.
The pillar and the ground of the truth. When Peter and them were teaching, they were teaching the truth. They weren't teaching no falsehood and fornicating with other gods and all this stuff. Now, let's go to Acts, the 12th chapter, Acts 12. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Acts 12 and 1. Acts 12 and 1. Now look at what happened to Peter. Look at what happened to Peter. Acts 12 and 1. Go ahead and read it. Because I'm just pointing out that the children of Israel wasn't running nothing. This is what I'm pointing out right here. Although Peter was left with the keys of the kingdom, they wasn't running nothing because they were still subject under Rome at this time. Now look at this right here. Now Herod was an Edomite that was ruling over Jerusalem at this time under the Romans. So look at what happened. Go ahead and read.
Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church.
Now who is the church? Israel is the church. Go ahead and read.
And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days.
Now wait a minute, he proceeded to take Peter also. So now he done grabbed Peter. Peter didn't have no power. You know, you had the one Peter that was over the church. Then you had, who was over Peter? Herod. Right? And who set up Herod? The Romans. So Herod, which was set up by the Romans, he just came in and grabbed Peter. And you'll see the Israelites fighting with him, or none of this. Or the Jews fighting with Herod. But go ahead and read.
Verse 4.
Because the church now is coming to its end as far as the children of Israel go in the land. But the church is still here. I want you to know that. And we are the church. Israel's church of the living God. The ground and pillar of the truth. Go ahead and read verse 4. Go ahead.
And when he had apprehended him, and he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto God for him.
So Peter, he in prison now. So he's not running the church. How can you run the church in prison? I'm just showing you that Israel didn't have no power. Even Peter, which was over the church, didn't have no power. Not like this whore that sitteth upon many waters. She got power. Verse 6, go ahead.
And when Herod would have brought him forth, that same night Peter was sleeping between two soldiers, bound with two chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prison.
See, so and then although the Lord came and freed Peter, but he was sitting in the prison with guards sitting there, so he wasn't running nothing. Let's go now. Let's go back to Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, real quick, because we're gonna come right back to Babylon the Great. So let's go down. The Mother of Harlots. Let's go to Jeremiah the 51st chapter, because I want to show you something. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51, and we're going to pick it up at verse, Jeremiah 51 and 7. Jeremiah 51 and 7. So far, we see that this Babylon the Great came out of Rome, not out of Israel. So we had Jeremiah 51 and 7. Go ahead and read it.
Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Didn't we read about that in Revelation 17? Said this mystery Babylon the Great, she had made the people, she was abominations of the earth, and she made the inhabitants of the earth drunk with the wine of her fornication. We read that in Revelation 17. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky.
Now wait a minute. Her judgment have reached unto heaven, even unto the sky. Keep that in mind. Verse 10.
The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God.
Now who is this saying this right here? That is the children of Israel saying this. Right? So now her sins, Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar Babylon, her sins have reached unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. Let's go to Revelations, the 18th chapter. Revelations 18. Revelations 18. We're going to get that slide ready. Revelations 18, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelations 18 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils.
Now we read about Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon the Great had fallen, right? Now we read about Babylon the Great right here, the mother of Harlots. She is fallen, go ahead and read, and become the habitation of devils,
and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Now look, that's how you got Mother's Day, Christmas, Easter. This is when the merchants make most of their money. Who gave you this Christmas and Easter and everything? It is the Catholic Church. They're the ones who gave you Easter and Christmas and all these so-called holy days. So-called holy days. See, the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. Israel, you go up and walk somebody and tell them about the Passover. And see if they look at you like you crazy. Tell them about the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Tell them about the Day of Atonement. The Lord atoned for our sins. Don't even know how the Lord atoned for their sins, but yet they say, but you take them the Day of Atonement and see what they tell you. The merchants of the earth, they're not waxing rich from the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles, memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. They're not waxing rich. Even when you look at Passover, the merchants are still not waxing rich from the abundance of her delicacies. Verse 4, go ahead and read it.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Go ahead.
For her sins have reached unto heaven.
Her sins have reached unto where? Didn't we just read that about Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, that her sins had reached unto heaven, unto the sky? So this Babylon the Great is likened unto Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. And Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon was never likened unto the children of Israel, because the Lord told Israel to flee out of Babylon. And look at what he's telling the children of Israel to do here. Go ahead and read.
And God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works.
Go ahead.
And the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow.
Hold on one second. Let's go back to verse 4. I'm sorry, verse 4. Go back to that.
Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people.
Now, didn't the Lord tell children of Israel to flee from Babylon? Now the Lord is telling Israel to flee from this Babylon. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plague. Because he told Israel, flee out of Mr. Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, that you don't get destroyed. Same thing he's telling the children of Israel right here. Flee out of Mr. Babylon the Great, the Mother of Harlots, that you be not partakers of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven. Go ahead and read.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquity.
Go ahead.
Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works.
Go ahead.
In the cup which she hath filled, fill her to double.
Fill her double. He said, reward her as she rewarded you. And she is the one who have killed the saints. And she is the one that the saints were full of their blood. She is the one. The Mother of Harlots and the Abominations of the earth, which is that little horn that made war with the saints. The same one that we read about in Daniel. Now look at what verse 7 is going to say. Go ahead and read.
Fill to her double. Verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously.
Now who is the one is Israel glorifying itself, or is the Catholic Church glorifying herself? The Catholic Church is glorifying herself. Go ahead and read.
So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
Now this is nothing new. When she said, I sit up a queen, that's nothing new, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But look at what they are saying about, first of all, we're going to look at some of the rich Catholics right here. So now these are some of the rich Catholics right here. Bill Gates, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Jordan, and his kids. That was surprising to me. Mark Wahlberg. You know Mark, right? And then he says Sylvester Stallone, Kobe Bryant. These are devout Catholic. Kobe Bryant, can you believe it? Now look, he said Tom Brady, you know, the football player. Brett Favre used to play for Green Bay, right? Devout Catholic. These are rich. Mel Gibson. Rich people, he played the Passion of Christ. Now, I just want to show you some rich people. Because he said rich people, both small and great. Now, let's go to Jeremiah 44 chapter. Because, you know, she said, I sit a queen. Right? Now, let's go to Jeremiah 44. This is nothing new. Jeremiah 44. And we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Jeremiah 44 and 2. Because she said, I sit a queen. This is Mystery Babylon the Great. She said, I sit a queen. This is nothing new. Jeremiah 44:2. Go ahead and read it.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem and upon all the cities of Judah. And behold, this day they are desolation, and no man dwelleth therein. Because of their wickedness, which they have committed to provoke me to anger, and in that they went to burn incense and to serve other gods, whom they knew not, neither they, yea, nor your fathers. So what were they considered then? They were considered harlots, right? Because they burned incense to other gods. Go ahead and read. Verse 4. Howbeit I sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, Oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate. But they hearken not, nor incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense unto other gods. Now, they burning incense to other gods, so they're hardening their neck. Still don't want to do what thus said the Lord, right? Skip to verse 15. Go ahead. Look at what they've done. 15. Go ahead. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt, in Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord, we will not hearken unto thee. You know that's Israel. You know that's our people too. Because that's the first man, I'm not listening to that. Go ahead and read. 17. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth. We're going to do whatever we come out of our mouth, man. Whatever, we can say whatever we want to. Go ahead and read. What else they going to do? To burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven. Oh, you see what they doing? They burning incense unto the Queen of Heaven. Go ahead and read. And to pour out drink offerings unto her. See, so this is no new thing. Because remember, the Babylon the Great, the Mother of Harlots, said, I set a queen. So now the children of Israel, they were burning incense to the Queen of Heaven. Go ahead and read. As we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah. Go ahead. And in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword. So since we stopped pouring out drink offerings and burning incense to the Queen of Heaven, we are in want of all things since we stopped doing that. Go ahead, Lord, because the Lord will turn you over. If you want to do folly, he'll turn you over to it. He'll give you the lust of your flesh. Go ahead and read. And have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. Because see, this the Lord is punishing them. Go ahead and read. 19. And when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her and pour out drink offerings unto her without our men? Go ahead. Then Jeremiah said unto all the people, to the men and to the women, and to all the people which had given him that answer, saying, The incense that ye burned in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, ye and your fathers, your kings, and your princes, and the people of the land, did not the Lord remember them, and came it not into his mind? Go ahead. So that the Lord could no longer bear because of the evil of your doings, and because of the abominations which ye have committed. Therefore is your land a desolation, and an astonishment, and a curse. Go ahead. Without an inhabitant, as at this day. Go ahead. Because ye have burned incense, and because ye have sinned against the Lord, and have not obeyed the voice of the Lord, nor walked in his law, nor in his statutes, nor in his testimonies. Go ahead. Therefore this evil has happened unto you, as at this day. Moreover, Jeremiah said unto all the people, and to all the women, Hear the word of the Lord, all Judah that are in the land of Egypt. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, Ye and your wives have both spoken with your mouths, and fulfilled with your hand, saying, We will surely perform our vows that we have vowed, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven. To burn incense to the Queen. You know, he said, go ahead, you're going to perform your vow. And to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven. Go ahead. And to pour out drink offerings unto her. Ye will surely accomplish your vows, and surely perform your vows. Now,
So now we're not going to read no more of this. I just wanted you to see that the children of Israel, they were burning incense and pouring out drink offerings and everything to the Queen of Heaven. Now, Brother Rodney, why did you bring us here? We're going to look at this next slide real quick. This is Mary, Queen of Heaven. So it says, Mary, Queen of Heaven, given to Mary, Mother of Jesus, by Christians, mainly of the Roman Catholic Church, and also to some the church, to some extent in the Anglicanism, some Lutheran churches, such as the Church of Sweden and Eastern Orthodoxy. The title is a consequence of the First Council of Ephesus in the 5th century, in which Mary was proclaimed Theotokos, a title rendered in the Latin as Mater Dei, in English, Mother of God. So Mary is called the Mother of Heaven. But you see how the children of Israel, the Lord did not condone them burning incense to the Mother of Heaven? Now the Catholic Church, what are they doing now? They are burning incense and worshiping Mary, the Mother of Heaven. Wow. Didn't he say, I sit a queen? Now they call it Mary, the Queen of Heaven. He said the Catholic teaching on this subject is expressed in the Papal Encyclopedia and Cali Regalium, issued by the Pope Pius XII. It states that Mary is called Queen of Heaven because her son Jesus Christ is the King of Israel and heavenly King of the universe. Indeed, the Davidic tradition of Israel recognized the mother of the king as the Queen Mother of Israel. They call the Catholic Church is calling Mary the Queen of Heaven. And they attribute this because of she being a mother of Jesus, and Jesus being King of Heaven or King of the universe, right? The title Queen of Heaven has long been a Catholic tradition, includes in prayers and devotionals, literature, and seen in Western art in the subject of the coronation of the Virgin from the high Middle Ages, long before it was given a formal definition status by the church. And here she is right here. Mother, you see them putting the crown over here. Now this is supposed to be taking place in heaven. And this is supposed to be Mary. They got the wrong color Mary, but still. Mary is no Queen of Heaven. Mary is asleep in her grave. She is no Queen of Heaven. She is not even in heaven. She is asleep in the grave. Let's go now. Let's go to Revelations, back to Revelations 18. Revelations 18. And we just got a few more to go. Revelations 18. We did get started a little late. Revelations 18. And we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Revelations 18 and 7. We'll pick it up where we left off at. Revelation 18 and 7. Go ahead and read it.
How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith In her heart I sit a queen, and am no widow,
Go
and
ahead.
shall see no sorrow.
Uh-huh.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire.
Go ahead.
For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her.
Now you can't say, how are you going to say that this is Israel when Israel was destroyed in 70 AD? And the brother that's standing, he knows those people over there are not the real children of Israel. So now how can you say this Mother of Harlots is the children of Israel? That doesn't make any sense. What verse you at?
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her.
Now I keep on reading that for a reason. He said the kings of the earth who have committed fornication have lived deliciously with her.
Shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Now who living well with this Mother of Harlots? Who living well? Who has been prospering off of this Mother of Harlots and her doctrines? Who has been prospering off of it? Keep reading.
Verse 10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
Now, in 1 hour, her judgment is going to come. And this is talking about that great city. What is that great city? That is Rome. Skip to verse 20. Skip to verse 20. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her.
Now wait a minute now. He's talking to the prophets now. How can he be talking to the prophets? The prophets are dead. But are they? Because at some point, the prophets have to be raised up, right? Read that verse again.
Verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her.
Now he's telling them to rejoice. So they have, in order for them to rejoice, the apostles and the prophets, even at this time in Revelation's 18th chapter, the apostles had been dead or had died. Even in Revelation 18. And so you know the prophets were gone. But he's telling them to rejoice. Skip to verse 23. Go ahead.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more, and all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more, and all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints.
Go ahead.
And of all that were slain upon the earth.
Now there it is again. In her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth. Because this woman right here gonna do a lot of killing. A lot of killing. Let's go now. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2. Now look at when this is going to take place. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Let's see when this is going to take place. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Pick it up where we left off at verse 7. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 7. But we were gentle among you, even as a nurse cherishes.
2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, and verse 7.
Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Go ahead.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Now we're looking at the same one right here. The one that said, I sit as a queen. But we read Babylon the Great. Babylon is fallen, right? And become the habitations of the devil. Now we're looking at her being destroyed again. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9.
The Lord going to consume with the brightness of his coming, or destroy with the brightness of his coming. Go ahead and read.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
And we know that this beast was given the power and great authority by who? Satan the devil. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10.
We read about the same one. Go ahead.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
And that's why the brothers believe it, that Israel is mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Because God has sent him a strong delusion that he will believe a lie. He will believe a lie. And there's many people, some people saying that the Arabs, that is mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. I'm like, how can some people saying America is Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. I'm like, how can that be? The whole world is not spiritually wandering after the beast or wandering after this harlot. United States is, themselves is wandering after this harlot. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Now, let's go to Revelations 19. Revelations 19. We just got just a few more. Revelation 19, and pick it up at verse 11. Revelation 19 and 11. Go ahead and read it.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness doth he judge and make war.
Go ahead.
His eyes were as a flame of fire, and his head were, and on his head were many crowns.
Now look, he coming to judge and make war. Look at who he's coming to judge and make war on. Go ahead and read.
And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations.
Go ahead.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
So now he came and put his sword in to smite the nation. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Go ahead and read verse 16.
And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
Because the book tells you in Psalm 110, I believe it is, he's going to fill places with dead bodies. So now he got to call for the beasts of the air, the fowls of the air, and the beasts to come for supper. Go ahead and read.
18. That ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
Go ahead.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army.
Now look at this. Go ahead.
And the beast was taken, and with them the false prophet.
The beast was taken, and who?
The false prophet.
The false prophet. That's that little horn right there. This is the one that been committing fornication, where all the kings of earth have been committing fornication with. He said, the beast and the false prophet, go ahead.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone.
Now you see what's going to happen to the beast and this false prophet? That false prophet being none other than the Pope. Papa. Let's go now. Let's go to Revelation 11. I don't want to talk about nobody, but this is who we're dealing with. It is not Israel. It is the Catholic Church. It is the ones that come out of Rome. Revelation 11. We got two more. Revelation 11, and we're going to pick it up at verse 15. Go ahead and read it.
And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ. And he shall reign forever and ever.
Didn't we read that over in Daniel, the 7th chapter? That the Lord's going to set up his king. We read in Daniel 2, and we read in Daniel 7, where the Lord's going to set up that image, that stone smote the image on the foot and filled the entire earth. And then that stone had dominion, and his dominion was forever and ever. And now you see him right here. Read that verse again. 15. Verse 15.
And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ. And he shall reign forever and ever.
And he shall reign forever and ever. So the kingdoms have not become the Lord's yet. This world has not become God's world. Go ahead and read. Because when this kingdom becomes God's kingdom, then it's going to be no more wars, no more rumors of wars. And if you don't do what thus say the Lord, you're going to get popped upside your head. You know, people going to live until they 900 years old. A child going to die at 100. This is not the kingdom of the Lord yet. Brother, this is the kingdom of the Lord now. All those that serve him. No. All dominions. Like in Daniel, we didn't read it, but Daniel 7 and verse 27, 28 tell you, and the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. All dominions not serving and obeying the Lord now. But at this time right here, when he had put down a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, the abomination of the earth, that one that deceived the nations, and at the Lord's coming, he's going to destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's when this world is going to become the Lord's. Verse 16, go ahead and read it.
And the 24 elders which sat before God on their seats fell upon their faces and worshiped God, saying, we give thee thanks, O Lord, O God Almighty, which art and was and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned.
Go ahead.
And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints.
Stop right there. Didn't he tell the prophets and the saints to rejoice? Amen. So we know that this got to come at the end time right here, because the saints have, and the prophets and the saints have not been given their reward yet. So when they rejoice, they would have been given their reward already. Otherwise, they can't rejoice because they still in the ground, sleep. So he had told the prophets and the apostles, rejoice, right? And so now we know when they're going to rejoice, and we know when this mother of harlots is going to be put out of commission. We know when Babylon the Great is going to fall. It's at the coming of the Lord. Go ahead and read. Finish that verse 18.
Middle of 18. And them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Let's go now. Let's go to Revelation 17 and 5. Revelation, we got one more. Revelation 17 and 5. Revelation 17 and 5. I just want to remind you of this. Go ahead and read it. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now look, if she is Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, what does harlots mean? She's got some daughters, right? She's got some daughters. Let's see these daughters. Uh-oh. So now you got the Catholic Church, which started all the way back
doing around 67 AD, because Paul told you the mystery of iniquity does already work. And we saw really the first pope, not Peter, but the first pope was around what time? He was around 67 to 76 AD. So this is how far back the Catholic Church goes right here. The early Christian church, then you got the Catholic Church right there. Then you got who came out of the Catholic Church? The Protestant churches. Then who came out of the Protestant churches? Just go ahead and take your pick. Because all of them came out of the Catholic Church. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the Mother of Harlots, and the abomination of the earth. And here are the harlots. Right here. Don't get mad at me. Just go check it out. Go check it out. Now, let's go now. Let's go to Revelation 13, because if you don't believe none of that, believe this. Revelation 13. Revelation 13. So you know the brother's supposed to be giving a rebuttal. I can't wait. I can't wait. Revelations 13 and 11. Revelations 13 and 11. Because he's not the only one that thinks like this. You got brothers that have taught him this. This is why he is saying this. You know, and I don't want to call no names, but there's a Gentile brother that teaches this, and an Israelite brother that teaches this too. Besides him, they all over the internet. I should have put them up on the... Anyway, let's go now. Talking about all things fulfilled already. You know, the Lord has set up his kingdom already. I'm like, okay, well then, once the Lord set up his kingdom, it's supposed to be in Jerusalem. And all nations supposed to flow into it. And then nations will not learn war anymore. Nations are still learning war. The Lord's kingdom has not been set up in Jerusalem, and all nations surely haven't flowed unto it. So I don't know what they are talking about. Revelation 13 and 11. Revelation 13 and 11. Go ahead and read it.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon.
Now, who was speaking as a dragon? Because the dragon gave that beast, which is that little horn, his power and his seat and his great authority, right? So now this one we're looking at, he's speaking like a dragon. Go ahead and read.
Verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Skip
to verse 13, because this guy gonna have some power at that point in time. He's going to make fire. You haven't seen nobody yet in history in Rome make fire come from the sky. You haven't seen that even during the time of the apostles when Linus set up and started the Catholic Church. You ain't even see him make no fire come down from the sky. But at this time, this one going to make fire come down from the sky in the sight of men. Skip to verse 16. We did verse 13. Go ahead.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand.
Remember we saw those rich people? And he caused them all, both small, and remember they already taken the wafer and giving it to you. And on Ash Sunday, they even put ashes on your forehead or on what? Your right hand. Better wake up. Go ahead and read.
Or in their foreheads.
Read that verse again.
16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond,
go ahead,
to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Now wait a minute. So now he gonna give you a mark now. He already got the ones that he had put the mark in their right hand, their forehead. He doing that now. With the Ash Wednesday, he got them already. But at this time, he gonna put a mark. Because like that microchip that they put in people now, I'm not saying that microchip that they put in people now, I'm saying the technology is here now. And this is how he can identify you, by putting this chip in you. What does that? So he said it's a number of a man, right? Go ahead and read.
18.
Uh-huh.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man. And his number is 666.
Now, that's 666, right? I challenge you to go look up the Pope's crown and see what it says. Vicarious feebly died, and look at what that means in Roman numeral numbers, and give me a call. Thank you.